My name is Troy Vossler, co-founder of gener8tor, and today it is my privilege to be joined by Stacey Halum, founder and CEO of Vibrant Therapeutics. Welcome, Stacey.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
You bet. And I appreciate Camilo, our managing director at the IU Lab program, for connecting us. So let's get things started. Stacey, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself and your company. So how did you get started? What's the genesis story? And what is Vibrant Therapeutics?
Absolutely. So, my name is Stacey Halum. I am the founder of Vibrant Therapeutics Incorporated. We actually just incorporated as of January, so we are a fresh company. But that being said, I'm a surgeon scientist. I have been at IU School of Medicine for years now, and I have over 20 years of data showing, basically how we developed a biologic for the treatment of neuromuscular disease. And specifically, we're looking at actual muscle paralysis. So we discovered that we can inject a biologic platform that actually treats muscle paralysis, and it causes the nerve to regrow to the denervated muscle. And so when we discovered this, we of course wanted to bring this to the market, and that is why Vibrant was developed. And then we got interested in joining gener8tor, and the story goes from there.
I love it. And congratulations on you said January you became incorporated. All right, congratulations. Give us a sense of like a little bit more of that timeline, like from, your work at the university to the discovery to, if there's patents involved, and then, ending with the story culminating, at least in this point in time, in the incorporation. Can you give us some more color on how long it's taken on the development timeline?
Absolutely. So we have had consecutive funding from the NIH now for over 15 years. So it has been a lot of work through the years. We originally had a cell therapy model, and then we discovered that we could do the same or get the same effectiveness essentially from our biologic platform. So we shifted out of the cell therapy model into the biologic platform model, and that's what we've been working with. But that really just occurred over the last year. So it's been a lot of transformation over the past year.
It's like a
And
overnight success, 15 years in the making.
yes, exactly. So now it's the whole idea of, now that we have something that is very efficacious, how do we actually get that into patients? And so going this business route, learning all about how to get investors on board, how to really get a startup launch, that's where gener8tor has come in, and that's where it's
Nice.
been really, really helpful.
And what's the current status of the company? So you mentioned having incorporated in January, but if you can speak to any, in terms of the regulatory pathway perhaps, or clinical trials, or what's ahead of you, um, please share
Yeah,
on that.
no, absolutely. So, yes, so we just became incorporated. We have actually an STTR and an SBIR sitting on our computers right now. And
Nice.
unfortunately, those mechanisms have been on hold. So, those will go out as soon as those mechanisms open back up again. So we will get that non-dilutive funding going, but then we're also talking with investors all the time. And we've had a number of investors who are very interested in joining us, but thus far we haven't found that lead. So that's really on our list here of important things. We need to find that specific lead investor who the others could potentially participate
Sure.
with. And right now, we've attained a $100,000 safe note. So with that, we have protected all our IP. So that is Vibrant owned. We are now using computational modeling to generate a number of sequences. So we will have a nice biologic library, so to speak, of candidates for our final lead candidate drug. And we're just, trying to get the foundation in place so that we can really build a successful biotech company.
I love it. Well, good luck here at the upcoming fundraise, and hope that goes well. Um, and where are you located? Where's the company located?
Here in Indianapolis.
Great. And then why Indianapolis, or why Indiana? Or maybe we expand that to why IU?
So Indiana is an incredible place for life sciences, and you probably know, everybody knows. I think that Lilly is here. Lilly has been incredible as far as donating to help other life sciences companies and other biotech companies. They made a endowment of over 100 million very recently, just to kind of help launched the whole IU LAB program. Gener8tor, I think, has been a part of that. Pitch, sorry, I think I forgot the name of it, but is it Pitch and Play?
Plug and
I
play as
forgot.
well. Yeah. IU Lab has been a great
We don't have
addition to
to
the ecosystem.
delete this little question out. But yeah, plug and play is in there also. So there's a number of groups that they've invested in to try to really launch the biosciences in Indiana. So I can't imagine a better place.
I agree. What was the biggest challenge that you faced as a founder? Maybe if you even go back earlier as an inventor, and then how did you overcome it?
So I think the biggest challenge has been learning the language from the business world. As a clinician scientist, for years, I've known all my clinical language, I've known my scientific language. But jumping into the business world, there are so many acronyms, there's so many different ways that investors think about things. That's been a real learning lesson for me. And that's where Gener8tor, I think, was really helpful for us, just giving us kind of the down and dirty version of what was important, what's not important, where to focus our energy. Really helped us kind of have a crash course MBA, so to speak.
I appreciate the kind words on that. And maybe this next question is somewhat related, but what's the one thing you wish you had learned sooner as a founder?
I wish I would have reached out to more biotech companies earlier.
Hmm.
I think I was a little hesitant because our IP hadn't been put in place yet. And there were all these, concerns that maybe if we reached out with our ideas too soon, somebody might end up taking them. And I think that is probably a false concern. I mean, certainly it could happen, but ultimately, you can provide or you can file a provisional patent pretty easily and protect your ideas. But the lessons that you get from other founders are really priceless. So I wish I would have reached out a little more to other biotech founders and learned from them, because now I have been, and I've learned so many things that have saved me a ton of time and energy. If you can learn from somebody else's mistakes, that's always better than going through it yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to, grow from here by networking more and learning from others.
And maybe you'll be on the other end of that now, people coming and talking to you more openly and you being a mentor to them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, we were just mentees 6 months ago, but we've already served as mentors, through the Gener8tor
I love
program.
it. Thank you
So
for doing that.
oh yeah, no, I love it. I enjoy being able to teach others.
So let's talk about the accelerator. So you went through our IU Lab Accelerator program. And when was that?
So that was last fall. So
Last
it's only
fall.
been about 6 months.
All right. And then tell us more about that experience, the Gener8tor experience.
So it is definitely a sink or swim experience. You get thrown in, and it's just really an incredible learning experience. So you do have to be prepared. I'm glad I, blocked my schedule off. I made a lot of time for it. This was a top priority for us, and I think that's what companies need to understand when you come into this. You will have so much information. You will be surrounded by, a huge network of people, of founders, of mentors, of investors, and you'll have these interactions. And so you want to have the time and the energy to be able to learn from them and grow from them.
I love it. How would you say the accelerator helped you the most?
I think learning how to present things in a way that the business world understood was probably the way it helped me the most. The way I like to present things to my scientific community, the way I present to my clinical community, it's very different than the way you present to business folks or investors. And that's really what I learned.
And then having gone through an accelerator now, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs, founders, researchers, inventors, clinicians? What advice do you have for them considering an accelerator?
I think it's an incredible opportunity. I would just make sure that you make it a priority,
Yeah.
because you're going to go through it. It's a very intensive, several week program. And there is so much information there that you want to have the time to really absorb that information and put your best foot forward. It was incredible. I mean, the number of people that we met, we got so much feedback, and it's very candid feedback from people like Lilly Ventures, people who are really top notch funding agents and top notch business people, executives. We were exposed, at obviously a very, very early stage in our path to these leaders in the communities. So you definitely want to be able to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, it's really like a you get out what you put in sort of mechanism in my head. Stacey, tell us about your favorite part of the program or perhaps the favorite connection that you made through the Generator program.
So I think the favorite part of my program was being with the other founders and seeing where we all started. We really started at a stage where some of us didn't have websites, some of us weren't even officially businesses yet. And then by the end, we had our pitch ceremony where we all got up in front of, several, probably 100 people, and were able to really have a polished pitch that described our businesses. And it just showed that kind of transformation that had happened over a very short time period.
That's cool. And I hope that those like collegial bonds persist, even 6 months, 12 months, 2, 3, 5 years after the program as well. Because I just think I call it positive peer pressure, like being able to see other people in a similar boat, early on and how you use the analogy of sink or swim earlier. Hopefully you're all swimming instead of sinking.
I think we are. It's actually kind of funny because I was at Purdue the other day because I go to Purdue and do research there. And I had introduced one of the co-founders, or one of the other founders in my group, to the research technicians at Purdue because she was really having a hard time getting some preclinical data for her company.
Mhm.
And as I was leaving, I saw she was coming through, and we ended up running into each other in the hallway because here she had like taken advantage of an introduction that I gave to her not so long ago, and she's really launching the data for her company and moving forward. So it's
Oh,
been exciting to see that, like, these little introductions, you don't always know what's going to happen, but they actually lead to some
yeah.
great,
And I
you
think they
know.
compound, or hopefully they compound
Mhm.
as well.
Absolutely. No, and yeah, vice versa. I mean, Camilo is still introducing me to people. He was a phenomenal mentor for all of us.
Nice. Shout out to Camilla. All right, my last question, Stacy. I asked this to each founder. If you had one ask for this audience, people watching this interview, what would that ask be? Maybe it's an introduction, a mentor, an investor, a customer. What would your ask be?
So my one ask would be still looking for that lead investor.
All right.
It's not easy in biotech, and that I have definitely learned. But we have so many investors who are interested in working with us that I just really need that lead so I can bring in some of those other participating investors. And I think it will happen. And I'm going to do everything in my control. I'm working for the non-diluted funding, and we're going to keep working with these other investor groups. But to find the lead investors in biotech is a little more few and far between. So if you know of anybody, please introduce me.
I like it. Well, you heard it from Stacy. If you're an investor interested in learning more about Vibrant Therapeutics, we'll make sure to include a link to the website in the description, as well as making sure to take Stacy. Feel free to reach out to her directly. Stacey Halum, founder and CEO of Vibrant Therapeutics. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your success and best of luck.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.